Joining me now is John Bolton, former National Security Advisor to Donald Trump and a former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. You've called Tulsi Gabbard, quote, a serious threat to our national security. Please explain.
Well, I don't think she has the qualifications for the job. And while we're on the subject, I don't think Matt Gaetz does either. I listened to Senator Hagerty's comments, and I respect him. But even if everything he said about the Justice Department was true, let's just assume that for the sake of argument, that's not the issue. The issue is Matt Gaetz, and the issue for Director of National Intelligence is Tulsi Gabbard. She doesn't have any experience in intelligence matters. She has demonstrated repeatedly that she doesn't understand international affairs. She has been quoted as saying that effectively Putin was justified in having Russia invade Ukraine because there were secret American biological weapons laboratories in Ukraine. I mean, this is Fantasyland stuff. I think the answer here, that the nomination's clearly going to be made. It is customary for every senior nominee of a president to have a full-field FBI background investigation, particularly in sensitive national security and law enforcement matters. Those investigations could begin now in a smooth transition where the incoming president has beginning to announce his senior appointees, Secretary of State, and so on. The outgoing administration can let the FBI loose to do the investigation. And the way the FBI starts its interviews off is, Mr. John Smith is being considered for a senior government job, and I'd like to speak to you about him. That can happen now. Those interviews, including full field investigations for Tulsi Gabbard and Matt Gaetz, could be done basically by January 1. Senate committees can hold hearings before the 20th of January. Bill mentioned that he had been held up. So was I. I got a recess appointment. I know how this works. I was held up by the Democrats, too. The difference now is Republicans control the Senate, so they can control the timing of the hearings. And like many other presidents, from Ronald Reagan to George W. Bush, the bulk of the cabinet, if they're qualified and are of good character, could be confirmed on or a few days after the 20th of January. So there's no argument here yet that the Democrats have obstructed anybody. I'm sure they'll try, but that's what a Republican majority is all about. Let's get the FBI investigation, then let's talk about Tulsi Gabbard and Matt Gaetz. I can't wait.
I believe that the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, under the Presidential Transition Act, has to be signed by the president-elect, and he's not done that yet. I know he hasn't done that broadly and not with the State Department. People can talk to each other, but I don't think they can launch these investigations for clearances.
Sure they can. Look, don't be formalistic about this. If President-elect Trump wants an expedited consideration of his nominee...
No, I'm saying he needs to trigger it.
He doesn't need to look, he can ask the president, and the president can do that. It's been done informally for decades when, there really was cooperation and transitions. They don't want the full field investigations. Let's be clear on that. I think this is a case where I hope Republicans en masse vote against these two nominees because they will be embarrassed in history if these people are confirmed and perform the way it is perfectly predictable they will perform.
What do you think about Pete Hegseth for the Defense Secretary?
I think he's in a completely different category from Gaetz and Gabbard. Again, Bill Hagerty said he's a Princeton graduate. I'm a Yaley. I don't think that much of a Princeton education, but it's.
Don't say that. My producers are from Princeton.
Well, everybody has their burdens. Look, he had a distinguished record in the military. He worked a lot on veterans issues. He was under very serious consideration in the first Trump term for being Secretary of Veterans Affairs. That didn't happen, but I think he was a serious candidate for that. It depends on who the full team is at Defense. If you hired a CEO of a major American corporation, maybe one in the defense industry, I know that would set alarms off for some people. I think it would be a good idea to be the chief operating officer of the department and had a strong team. I think Hegseth has a lot to answer for some of the things he's written, such as suggesting that C.Q. Brown, the current chairman of the Joint Chiefs, be fired. I think that would be a mistake, at least in the abstract. That's what the confirmation process is for. I would give Hegseth a chance. I think he's got a steep hill to climb. I think the Democrats are going to come after him too. But he's not Matt Gaetz or Tulsi Gabbard. Let's be clear about that.